Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video on the channel today. In today's video, I'm going to be going over some of the teams that I think will overperform their expectations and some teams that will underperform their expectations for 2023. Now, I put 3 teams for each category, 3 for over and 3 for underperform, and I want to know what you think of my rankings down below. So don't forget to subscribe and comment down below whether or not you agree with my list. But let's go ahead and get right into it. One team that I think is going to overperform their expectations this year is the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears are currently slated to have about 7.5 wins as their over-under total, and I think that is pretty disrespectful. I've talked about the Bears ad nauseum this offseason, but I'm really quick just going to remind you guys of the points that I've been making all offseason. Better offensive line for Justin Fields, much better weapons. I think the defense did get a little bit better. I'm not expecting the Bears to be a Super Bowl team by any instance, but I do think that there is a pretty decent chance that they could sneak into that 7 seed in the wild card spot, especially because the NFC is pretty weak. And like most people, I do think that Justin Fields is going to have a big breakout season in year 3. I'm recording this on Saturday, and this morning we saw the connection between him and DJ Moore already ignite a new flame in the offense. DJ Moore is the best playmaker that Justin Fields has ever had in his NFL career, which is ironic because he had like 3 first-round picks, wide receivers in college, but whatever. But in year 2 of the Luke Getsy offense, I think Justin Fields is going to thrive. I think that offense as a whole is going to be much, much better. And the defense, while it won't be probably good, I think it'll be better than it was last year. They'll be able to get to the passer, at least I think this time around. And I have the Bears overperforming their season expectations. One team that I have underperforming their team's expectations is the Buffalo Bills. In my record prediction video, I had the Bills going 13-4. And the more that I think about it, the more that I really just don't like that. Because if you think about it, the Bills lost a lot of key pieces on their defense. Trayvon Edmonds was their Mike linebacker for several years. He was the captain on the defense. Jordan Poyer is gone now. And I think very underratedly, is that a word? And I think what's very underrated is the fact that they lost defensive coordinator Leslie Frazier, who has coached this defense very, very well over the past few seasons. He is not going to be here in 2023. Additionally, I still have major question marks about their running game. I know everybody in fantasy is high on James Cook and Damian Harris. Nothing really is speaking to me in terms of their running game. I think it's still going to be very reliant on Josh Allen. And the more that Josh Allen needs to play Superman, the less efficient that this offense is going to be. And to put the cherry on top of everything that I'm saying, their division got a lot better in this offseason. Miami got better. The Jets definitely got better with Aaron Rodgers now in the division. So with all those factors in mind, I really don't know what I was smoking thinking that the Bills were going to go 13-4. I'm going to have them underperforming their season expectations, which, to be very clear, the Bills expect themselves to be contenders for the Super Bowl. That's their expectations, right? The Bears, who I just talked about, they're not in that category. They kind of expect themselves to be like a bottom. Well, the league expects them to be like a bottom feeder. The Bears will be better than that. The Bills will not be a Super Bowl team like most people anticipate. I do still think they'll make the wild card round. I don't know if they win their division, but I don't really think they go anywhere, unfortunately. My next team that I think is going to overperform their expectations for this year is the Los Angeles Chargers. Justin Herbert is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and I could really end my discussion right there, but the Chargers have just been extremely unlucky the past few seasons with injuries. Derwin James was out last year. Joey Bosa was out last year. They lost Rashawn Slater. There were 3 key contributors to that team that were all missed significant time last year for the Chargers. Additionally, Kellen Moore is now coming in to replace Joe Lombardi as offensive coordinator. Now the Chargers will finally run a passing concept that isn't curl routes at the sticks. They're going to let Justin Herbert throw it all over the yard. And with new weapon Quentin Johnson, I think he's going to add another layer to that dynamic offense. Now, I understand their division is good, so I'm not going to necessarily predict them to win the AFC West, but I do think the Chargers are a capable enough team to win a playoff game or 2 and be in serious contention for one of the 4 or 5 remaining teams in the NFL when it's all said and done. Another team that's going to underperform expectations this season is going to be the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota last year went 13-4. And to be completely honest with you, that was very lucky. They won 11 one-score games last season. That included a game in which they literally mounted the greatest comeback in the history of the NFL. That included a game in which the Bills fumbled the ball at their own goal line. The Vikings recovered, and Justin Jefferson made one of the best catches in NFL history for them to get the win. That also includes a game against the Bears where the Bears were driving down the field to potentially win the game. The guy got stripped, and he lost the ball, and the Vikings recovered. The Vikings were very lucky last year. And that is not necessarily a bad thing, but I think they're going to regress to the mean a little bit this year as well. Last year, they were 27th in defensive DVOA and 30th in points allowed for defense. I understand Brian Flores is coming in. It's going to be improved defense, but I just don't think they have the personnel on that defense to be a very good unit overall. Kirk Cousins is still a good, not great quarterback, and obviously the receiver room is very good. But what running game are they going to have now with Dalvin Cook gone? So I'm not exactly a big believer in Alexander Madison. So I think the Vikings are going to come crashing down to earth back from their 13-4 season last year. Another team I think is going to overperform their team's expectations this season is going to be the Miami Dolphins. If Tua can stay healthy, and I'll put that caveat in there because I think it's a big caveat. If Tua can stay healthy for the majority of the season, this offense is going to be elite, probably top 5 in the NFL. And that is a big credit to Mike McDaniels. That's a big credit to the skill position guys they have, namely Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. They have a good left tackle in Terron Armstead. But if Tua can stay healthy and he could run this offense the way that Mike McDaniel wants him to run this offense, this team is going to be very, very good. Now, they added Jalen Ramsey. Unfortunately, it sounds like he's going to be out until about December. But the other defensive addition they got this year was Vic Fangio as their defensive coordinator, one of the best defensive coordinators the NFL has seen over the past couple of decades. I think this means that we're going to see big breakout years from Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb. I think the pass rush is going to be much, much better in Miami. And I think that they can win the AFC East and put themselves in position to potentially go on a Super Bowl run. And then for my last team that is going to underperform expectations this year, it's going to be the Denver Broncos. I know. Pump your brakes on the Denver Broncos once again this year. I have a couple of things to say. I think they will be better. I think Russell Wilson will be better, and obviously Sean Payton couldn't be a worse head coach than Nathaniel Hackett was. But to say that this team is a playoff team is still kind of pushing it for me, right? Last year, the offense and the special teams was 29th in DVOA. You cannot tell me that both of those units are going to drastically improve to be, maybe even average unit. The offense might be average. I don't know. The defense, can it be top 10 again this year? They lost Bradley Chubb. I understand Patrick Surtain is still one of the better corners in the NFL, but I think their defense, talent-wise, is a bit depleted. I think their division is also very, very good. The Chiefs, Chargers, like I mentioned, are awesome. And I think people need to pump the brakes a little bit on the Denver Broncos. So those are my 3 teams that will overperform and underperform in the 2023 NFL season. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.